Welcome, Patriot News Hour. Joe and Jason on this Thursday. I hope it finds you well out there. Man, we got a hurricane fight. You know what they were talking? We're going to have 20 hurricanes and all this stuff. We haven't had much coming to Florida. If you're in the way, get out. This thing got nasty fast. Going to be a Category 4, so be safe out there, all our listeners out there. Be careful. Of course, here in the Valley of the Sun, fall, yeah, forget it. Yeah, going to be 113 degrees this weekend. I mean, last week we had a few days it was only in the 90s. I mean, one day I was driving to work, and it was like 60 degrees, and 60 degrees here is like freezing. I turned the heat on in the car, driving to work. Yeah, this morning it was like 90. Yeah, well, hopefully this will be the end of it. And, I also have to apologize. I've been saying all week, you know what, maybe I'm just bad at dates. The inflation numbers come out tomorrow. I apologize. I thought it's tomorrow, but we did get a bunch of data out. We'll go through all of it. Another all-time record high. Gold eclipsed the $2,700 level on the December contracts. This morning, the spot contracts hit a new intraday record high. Right now, we'll see if we get a new closing record high, probably. And then, of course, tomorrow, so we got one more day, are we going to see that lighter inflation number? And once again, we said if we did, we'd think 2,700, and we actually got it already earlier today. But our toll-free number, 800-951-0592, the website at allamericangold.com. And I'll say this, because we've been doing this a lot lately. We have a very limited special today that I'm just going to you want to buy it. That's all I'm going to tell you. You're going to want to take part in it. This is going to be one of those, at cost, below cost type deals that we've been doing a lot of lately. So write this down, 800-951-0592. And like I said, very, very limited. But I don't know if you caught it. Now, normally I wouldn't do this on this show, but I think it's worth doing. We'll probably talk about this when Jason and I do the half-empty cup later today. Marcus Allen, not the football player, not that Marcus Allen, okay? Marcus Allen, former FBI staff operations specialist, was testifying in front of Congress and was reporting about the January 6th. And what was going on there. So he's one of these FBI guys that was saying, hey, we had federal people everywhere and federal informants everywhere. The FBI questions my allegiance to the United States, suspended my security clearance, suspended my pay, and refused to allow me to obtain outside employment or even accept charity because he was like, hey, this whole January 6th thing, yeah, when the FBI fumbled the football, well, that's what happened, right, when you do the whistleblower. But, Jason, that wasn't the part that I really wanted to focus in on. He is warning Americans that they better be armed and better be ready to take care of themselves, saying that the political environment that's out there are no words strong enough to describe the impact the FBI's lies about me have had on me and my family. This is a warning to the American people. I personally have no confidence the FBI will rein in its own conduct and saying, arm yourself and know how to defend yourself. Make 3 to 4 friends in your neighborhood. and promise to come to each other's mutual aid in the time of hardship. I mean, this is pretty crazy type words, but we've been hearing a lot about this. But this was a guy in the FBI who essentially had said, hey, one of the things, and we talked about this in the half-empty cup, and I'm sure we'll talk more about it today, a lot of the incidents, whether it be from Oklahoma City to Waco, the first bombing at the World Trade Center back in the 90s up to 9/11, the FBI seems to be all around this stuff. And this guy was saying the same thing with January 6th. Hey, we were in there, and you know, I hate to say it, but almost like they were encouraging bad behavior. And this is what this guy was saying. And now he's saying, hey, get ready, the government's coming after everybody.
Well, on the financial side, Joe, it's funny how these certain things are announced years ahead of time, and then it gives everyone a chance to. Everyone likes to put the news behind you, don't they? You know, it's hard to believe that the bridge in Baltimore, that only happened like 4 months ago. Doesn't it seem like that was last year? How long ago the bridge got hit by that ship? So you're talking about economics, and what I remember is 87,000 more IRS agents being hired.
Yep.
But he says you say they're coming after you. There's nothing more clear than that, right, Joe?
When we get back, just think about what he said. Hey, the government prevented me from even making a living. (800-951-0592). A quick look here at the markets. The Dow's up 200 today. Kind of was down 200 yesterday, up 200 today. Treading water. The S&P's up 18. The NASDAQ up 68. By the way, China today, another. So the other day they unleashed rate cuts and money. Today, another, I guess, bazooka from the Chinese. Listen, the money printing express is on the way. The 10-year note, 3.8. So continuing to head higher. Again, the overwhelming debt. We did have, it was a mediocre, I'll call the auctions this week. At least they weren't terrible. Mediocre. I'll take it. You know, you had a $70 billion 5-year auction yesterday. Wasn't horrible. And I guess that's as good as it can get. But again, rates been creeping back up. Crude oil's down. Conflicting news as to whether or not Saudi Arabia is going to make more oil or not. This is the same thing that happened last week. We'll see what happens. Gold again, up again right now. It's up $10, 26.67. It's been as high as 26.85. Silver up 33 cents right now, $32.10. But again, remember, get diversified, be diversified. More important than ever, as again, we get it. They're going to print money. They're going to try to do everything they can, you know, to have this blow off bubble top. But you want to be diversified before that top blows off. We've been talking about them for years. Why refi up to 10.25% fixed rates of return? What does a fixed rate mean? Doesn't change. What if the Fed does this? What if Wall Street does that? What if, I don't know, Israel does this, or Hezbollah does that, or Russia does this? Doesn't matter. They don't care. You can compound it. You can use it as income. There's no fees. There's no gain. They're kind of like Patriot. They don't mess around. They give you it's a great product, great returns. Check them out. You got to have at least $50,000. You guys already know all that. InvestYRefi.com, or just call them at 888-YREFI24, 888-973-3924. And before we get to all the economic data, Jason, I just want to finish with this guy. Marcus Allen, not the football player, the FBI agent, who sent a note an email, I guess, for lack of a better term, to his superiors on September 21st, 2021, which these supervisors contained links to extremist propaganda from questionable sources. Yes, how dare you insinuate that the FBI may have done something wrong? The Department of Justice Inspector Michael Horowitz testified alongside Allen, is investigating the FBI security clearance and adjudication process, including the targeting of political conservatives who were seen as loyal to Trump or resistant to COVID-19 vaccine mandates. So essentially, what has happened here is Allen was like, hey, I'm a conservative guy, and I'm pointing out all of these inconsistencies, and the FBI retaliated by saying, not only are you suspended, we're going to take away your clearance, we're going to suspend your pay, refuse to allow me to obtain outside employment or even accept charity. Listen, this is what we're telling you is going to happen with this digital currency. And it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. I don't know what the reason will be. Oh, well, you gave money to Canadian truckers. Oh, well, your carbon footprint, it just got, too big, or we don't like what you posted on X or Facebook or whatever it may be. Jason, this screams as to why, when we talk about diversification, gold and silver need to be a part of this. If this happens to you, what are you going to do? What are you going to do if you had gold and silver? If Marcus Allen had gold and silver, he could have called me. He could have got some money, Jason. That's all I'm saying. I don't hear you.
Obviously, we sell gold and silver, so of course this is what we're going to suggest. But we don't. Joe and I didn't get into selling gold and silver because it's a false way to improve your situation. Joe, you just gave the scenarios to improve his situation, and it's just the way it is. I love the new customers, Joe. We have new customers. You have to explain that Joe is like third level gold and silver, so he wants to hit the numbers and the larger picture on why it's going to move prices. But what's good about new customers is you have to take it all the way back down to the basics and say, hey, look, here's gold and silver 101. And I think a lot of people in the upper echelon of making economic decisions, Joe, they don't they need to learn that basic stuff or relearn it if they knew anything about it to begin with.
We talk a lot here about how we've weaponized the dollar, right? Why is BRICS and de-dollarization a thing right now? Because anytime someone does what we think or what what our government says we shouldn't like, right? They punish them, right? Well, we're going to cut you off financially, and this is what's happening. But should we be surprised that it's turning inward now? Should we be surprised that it's turned? This was an FBI agent who was simply sending a letter or an email to his superior saying, hey, help me here. Help me answer this here. Right? Because I'm putting these dots together. Appears like we were there. Appears like we were involved. Blah, blah, all these other things. And here's what they did. Yeah, we're going to teach you. We're going to teach you a lesson. Right? And we saw what happened in Canada with the Canadian truckers, right? Well, we're going to teach you a lesson. And we it's something where 20-something years ago when I started here, this wasn't on my radar. This wasn't on my radar. Right? I was, like Jason said, I was talking about, hey, here's the financial reasons why I think you should own gold and silver, right? Because the debts are starting to pile up, right? Apparently we're not paying off the debt and all this other stuff. This may be an even bigger reason, especially when the digital currency comes, and people don't like that. They don't like to believe it, but this is the realities, and Mr. Allen here learned it the hard way. Make sure you're prepared, because I think people are going to be very, very surprised as to when the heat really comes, when the pressure really comes, when the debt auctions get even worse. You know, Jason talked about the hiring of these IRS agents. Listen, this isn't happening in a vacuum. It's not happening by accident. Now, you can choose to take your head and shove it all the way up your backside. If that's what you want to, you can. Oh, come on, Double. Come on, fear-mongering. All the things for 20-plus years that we've been talking, they're all happening. They have happened. This is the reality. Either you're going to prepare, or there's going to be big trouble coming. And when guys in the FBI are talking about, hey, you better find 3 or 4 of your neighbors have 3 or 4 months of food, and you better know how to operate a handgun and everything else. Yeah, that tells you all you need to know. But having said that, there you go. Now, like I said, we normally do this with the half-empty cup. I'm sure we'll dive more into that. But I do want to go over the economic data. We had pending home sales. They were expecting a big bounce back after the bad number in July. Didn't happen. It did rise 0.6%, but the problem was pending home sales, right? They revised the July number to make it even worse, so really didn't bounce back at all. But neither here nor there. Pending home sales are now down 4.3% from a year-over-year basis. Remember last year, how terrible it was. Once again, contract signings remain near the lows, even as home prices keep marching to the new highs. And, boy, somebody was out saying, don't be surprised if home prices go up another 10 to 15%, because they said interest rates are going a lot lower than people think. I don't know. Boy, why not, right? I think there's going to be a lot of money being printed. But the big number, initial jobless claims. Apparently, Jason, I guess nothing matters. 217,000. Last week it was 219,000. Continuing claims still ticked up. But apparently businesses aren't hiring. But businesses aren't firing, if you want to believe it. But then the government said this. It was interesting. Because, Jay Powell last week said, well, the jobs numbers aren't right. That's kind of what he said. He said they're not right. The government is now saying that the Bureau of Labor Statistics is having a hard time. And the reason they're having a hard time in tracking this stuff, because I guess they don't want to use computers. I don't know. It seems like it'd be pretty easy to track. But they're saying that nobody will answer the phone and talk to them, because they do this survey, and they survey it by calling 60,000 households. And they said, well, here's the problem. See, back in, 2013, 90 people would respond, 90%. 90%. I'm sorry, that was before 2013. By 2013, it was down to 70%. Then it went to 63%. Now they're saying this year, Jason, less than half the people that they're reaching out to will even respond. And I'm like, yeah, you know why? Because nobody wants to hear from a telemarketer, right? Come on. But this is now, they're saying the reason why the data's not very good is we just can't get anybody on the phone.
I think the economic world is changing, and the data that they're measuring isn't measuring the world that we're living in. That's how many times do I always come up with different scenarios as to why, I mean, first of all, a guy has 3 jobs. He can't count him as unemployed if he loses one. Right, Joe? If you got a massive amount of gig workers and you stop working one of your 1099 jobs, you can't collect unemployment. There's a lot of things that make these numbers weird. I mean, I've been saying that I think inflation numbers will be down the rest of this year, early into next year, and then it'll come back. Well, you talked about the longshoreman strike that's coming, right? Are we going to have job losses all over the country and then inflation because you can't get goods to the market? Right, Joe? What kind of supply line problems could we possibly have in the next couple of months leading up to Christmas, and suddenly the inflation comes back and everyone's being fired at the same time? There's just too many factors. And none of the factors say, hey, this could be a good thing. I guess if we sat there and looked at it really hard, Joe, I'm sure we could say, well, this might be good. This thing could be good. But it sure seems like most of the data, no matter what direction you look at, it seems like what version of bad is going to come from it, right?
Gold now up 13, 26.71. Big special coming. 800-951-0592. Like I said, gold up 13, 14. We're going to hit new highs here today. Right now, gold's at 26.72. Silver almost now 31 and a quarter, or 31. Sorry, that's 32 and a quarter. By the way, silver I think is going to close at a new high for this year today. If that's the case, look for more upside in the silver markets. China. Just another round of stimulus coming. Plus, we've got that inflation data tomorrow. By the way, Jay Powell talked today. Didn't even talk about monetary policy. Didn't even bring it up. I wonder why. But today, okay, here's what we've got. Yesterday, we were running those $10 Indians, which, congratulations, right? What a great item. Today, I've got 15 of these. It's going to be a $10 Indian at $1,465, cheaper than a $10 Liberty. But we're going to throw in a roll of 40% silver. So what does that mean? What's 40% silver? It's just under 3 ounces of silver. For $1,495, you heard me right. You're getting essentially 2 ounces of free silver in the deal. And we don't use the F word at all. The $10 Indian by itself is, by the way, go down up 15 and keep going here. All these prices are going to be much higher tomorrow. Take advantage of it. We only got 15 of these. So you get a $10 Indian and a roll of 40% silver for just $1,495. For those of you looking to do something bigger here, $20 gold pieces right now. Listen to this. $2,795. December gold now is already $2,700. This ain't $2,700 again. Like $95 over. Take advantage either way. Now, the 40% silver in the Indian, I've only got 15. There are only 15 of them. That's all there is. But either way, what a great opportunity here. And I think the deck is clear here. If we had gotten a different jobs number, we'd probably be at well over $2,700 today. But the inflation data coming tomorrow, 800-951-0592 already. So we got already, lines are lighting up already. Get in here. Don't forget those $20 gold pieces. $27.95. That's just a great opportunity today. And Jason, especially with China, China says they're going to spend another 140 some odd billion dollars on top of the 140 some odd billion they announced the other day. All of a sudden, the money bazookas are coming out everywhere.
Yes, Joe, exactly. And, I haven't mentioned this. I saw this briefly, so I'm speaking with not enough information, but I saw the Department of Justice and Visa. I had a couple of listeners saying, how should we be looking at that? Is this sort of the system attacking itself in some ways?
Yeah, so that, by the way, congratulations, Paul Pelosi. I don't know if you saw that. Big Visa shareholder, miraculously, just coincidence, sold all his Visa stock a couple weeks ago. But the Department of Justice is just looking into Visa essentially using unfair practices to control the debit card market. Because I guess MasterCard has a little bit, but it's pretty much all Visa when it comes to that market. And that's what they're looking into. I'll let everybody know what's going to happen. Visa's going to pay a fine, and everything's going to be wonderful. But yeah, that's just what's going on there with the DOJ. They've got to at least pretend that they care about us.
That's kind of what I was thinking, but sometimes
I just want the Paul Pelosi ETF. That's what I want. I want to invest in that.
Well, the news cycle does have some guys that looks like they're going to be responsible for some things. You got was a Puff Daddy. He's being charged, or is he going to get charged? So
he's in jail right now. Yeah, he's in trouble.
I saw Visa was in trouble. It's like, well, maybe it's so bad that there's going to be some fall guys in this thing. I didn't know Visa maybe could be eliminated in the economic times that are coming. I don't know, Josie. I think a lot of people didn't think that Lehman Brothers was going to go down, and it did. So I guess I'd like to watch that because when the musical chairs game stops, somebody's not going to have a seat.
Yeah, the question is, who is it, right? Who's going to be without a seat? And this time, there's going to be multiple seats this time. Remember that game, the musical chair game, and the music stopped, and they always had one less chair? Why do I get the feeling that when this bubble top blows off here, it's going to be multiple chairs short, right? It's not going to be one chair. I think it's going to be a multitude of shares. But, yeah, the Paul Pelosi ETF, apparently him getting hit on the head with a hammer did not affect his ability to see the future.
Apparently his pager's still working, or his text line, right? Well positioned with the people in the know, right? He still has a connection. He's able to make that. So no, I thought that'd be interesting, Joe, because once in a while you hear this, it's like, is this actual responsibility here? But more times than not, it's not responsibility. It's just smoke and mirrors, right?
Yeah. By the way, Morgan Stanley now downgrading all the car companies, including Ford and GM. We're downgrading our view of the U.S. auto industry. And, of course, we got rates falling, right? You'd think that this would pick it up. They're saying that a lot of factors playing into this. U.S. inventories extremely high. Vehicle affordability extremely low. They're saying, listen to this. Morgan Stanley says now the average car transaction, $720 a month car payment. What? $720 a month, and you buy a nice car. That used to be an old mortgage payment, $1,200. I got so many people telling me they got $1,000 plus car payments out there remaining out of reach. But then they got to the big part. Credit losses and delinquencies continuing to press upward, and saying even for those approaching prime. So less than prime, into the prime. Downgrades now on the U.S. auto industry. Hey, one way to fix that, lower rates even more. Right? Let's just keep lowering them. We got a couple lines open. I don't know. I'll try to get an update, see how many we got. But we'll be right back. 800-951-0592. We've got 10 of the $10 Indian and the roll of 40% silver still left at $14.95. The $10 Indian is at $14.65. Listen, $10 lib. I already got a new price sheet, of course. $10 Liberty is going to be $1,500 tomorrow. I mean, the $10 Indian is probably what, $15.20? I don't know, $15.10, $15.20, $14.65. But then you get basically almost 3 ounces of silver for $30. Silver right now is $32.25. Yeah, do the math, right? You're getting $63. I mean, you look at this thing, you're probably buying the Indian and the silver, all 3 ounces below cost. That's what that amounts to at $1,495. And don't forget, then we got the 20s. Liberty Saints, I don't care, $27.95. Somebody called during the break. It's so funny. I love our customers. Well, can I get some free silver or what about some free silver with a 25? When you buy the 20s, however many 20s you buy, I'll throw in an ounce of silver. I get to pick the silver. Okay? I get to pick it. But $27.95, you get a $20 gold piece and an ounce of silver, or you can get the $10 Indian and essentially 3 ounces of silver for $14.95 at 800-951-0592. You guys are killing me. I mean, come on, we're giving it away as it is. But okay, twist my arm, I'll do it.
I'll say this: a lot of people that are shy to buying wish they would have. We're having record high gold days, not every single day, but it's happening on such a regular clip. And I know there's customers sitting there like, man, I should have bought 20 record high gold days ago, which could have been a couple of months ago, right? Well, don't sit around and wait for 20 more record high gold days to buy, because we're going to have another 20 record high gold days probably, before November or maybe before December. It just keeps one step at a time, $5, $10, $5, $10. It can do this for a long time. I mean, how many $10 updates does it take to get $1,000 more on gold, which is where we'll be sometime next year, possibly? It's 100 record high gold days to get there.
Listen, I get it.
That's a third of a year.
There'll be a pullback. It's not going to be hundreds and hundreds of dollars. There'll be a pullback, but the problem is the pullbacks will be short-lived. Why? Because the whole world is spending money again. Listen to what China said today. We are vowing. They had this big Xi Jinping. The political borough meetings were this week. Came out today after they fired a bazooka earlier in the week. We're going to save the private economy. We're going to stabilize our property sector from further slumping. We're going to boost the stock market and ensure necessary fiscal expenditures. What does that mean? That means China basically just said, hey, we're going to spend whatever we need to get this economy roaring. And guess what the Chinese like to sell when they start spending money? Oh, that's right, U.S. Treasuries. That's what they like to sell. So, again, this is one of these things. It's the perfect storm. We've said this from day one. I mean, you go back to Jason and I in 2023 even. We were talking about this. The Fed's in a box. They're in a box. There's no good choice. There really isn't. They don't have a good choice. And here's the problem. Whatever choice they made was good for gold. And now, I think silver is getting ready for a big breakout here. And that's going to drive both prices higher. Right now, silver's up 50 cents, 32.25, and closing above its previous highs. You know what the computers like to do, Jason. They like to hit the buy button. Let's face it, people are trading, computers are trading.
I still find it funny that we have customers calling in and haggling live on air. Hey, give me some silver. Give me some silver. You guys, man, one of these days we're going to say, you know what? There is no haggling. We can't keep up with it. That's how fast it's going up. The few days. Here's the thing. You talk about pullback. Joey's like, oh, well, there's going to be a pullback. All that. So there's a few customers like, okay, well, I'll wait for that pullback. Well, the few times that gold's gone down this year, it takes it back the next day, not a week later.
And the problem is,
I remember earlier this year,
don't normally go that way, right?
Yeah, it's just moving. I remember when it went up really fast in March and April, $100 a week for several weeks. It would go up on Friday. It'd go up on Monday. Starts taking off. Then Wednesday it would go down. Thursday it would take it back. Friday would go up, and then it would go up on Monday, and it would be up another $100. So, yeah, if you're waiting for a pullback, don't wait too long, because if gold goes down one day, we'll come on the air and we'll offer you a half ounce of silver for free on that special, but it'll be short-lived, Joe. It'll be short-lived. The days of haggling are very few and far between, Joe.
It's been a crazy market. There's no doubt about it. I mean, you got gold up almost $800 in a year, and we're talking about, hey, this is just the beginning, and that's the unfortunate part. That's the scary part of it all. But I've been doing this a long, long time, and what I'm seeing is they've decided to go for inflation. That's the choice they've made, and gold it's just gonna lead the rally. That's all it's gonna do. And now I think baby brother silver, he's getting ready to shine. 800-951-0592, Patriot Radio News Hour. Joe and Jason wrapping up this Thursday. Remember, tomorrow we get the inflation data. I screwed that up and thought it was today. That's tomorrow. And despite the jobs numbers being ridiculously low, gold again set to close at a new all-time record high. And if the inflation numbers come out the way I think they're going to come out, we'll probably say that again tomorrow. Jump on this. We still got some $10. I don't know how, but we do. We got some $10 Indians. You're going to get a roll of 20, 40% silver, which is just under 3 ounces. 2.9 ounces is 3 ounces of silver. $1,465 on this Indian. It's going to be over $1,500 tomorrow. Listen, gold does what it did today. If it does that again tomorrow, forget about it. The Indian will probably be, I don't know, 15, 25, 15, 35, 15, 40, I don't know. $1,465. And you're going to get $90 worth of silver. Actually, I'm sorry, $93.50 of silver for $30. Right? So it's $1,495.
And that's the melt. That's the melt value of the silver.
Yeah, that's the melt. That's the melt on it. On that one. And then remember, $20 gold piece today. Can't go wrong. $27.95. December gold right now, I think it's $2,698. Right? It's been I think as high as $27.10 this morning. I think there's a very good chance we could see 2,700 plus gold tomorrow. It's $27.95. Thank one of your listeners. Shamed me during the break. For every 20 you get, we'll give you an ounce of silver. We just get to pick the ounce. It'll be whatever we have. So $27.95, you get a 20 and an ounce of silver, or a $10 Indian and a roll of 40% at $14.95 at 800-951-0592. Take the time. Keep adding. Hey, listen, don't be caught with like Marcus Allen. When the government decides, think about what did he do that was so terrible? Well, he sent an email saying, hey, explain this to me. And the FBI said, well, that's just right-wing propaganda. Right? And unreliable source. And see, here's the thing. They didn't deny that was true or not. Right? They just said, well, it's not a reliable source. Yeah. Oh, okay. Right? You would think, if they said, hey, the guy was spreading blatant lies and untruths, okay, maybe that's one thing. No, they didn't say that, did they, Jason?
No, they didn't. So take advantage of gold and silver. You just got to take advantage. I know not everybody is sitting in that position to buy today in particular, but there's a lot of – Joe, we know you've done this a lot longer than I have. There's always that money sitting there, and people are sitting around waiting to decide what they're going to do with it. I talked to a customer yesterday who's just new to gold and silver, and I think he's got a lot of money he's going to end up putting into it because he just hasn't learned. And so I coached him along, and he's like, well – this just looks like a great place to put my money that's sitting here because I don't like it sitting here to begin with.
I'm going to tell you right now, you want to know what to do, all you new folks, just call us up and just tell the girls, I want the special. That's all you got to do. They'll take it from there. It's so easy. 800-951-0592. Jason and I, we're coming right back with the Half Empty Cup.